All right, Kiss Army, welcome to the KissFAQ podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. We're just a bunch of Kiss fans and we talk Kiss. So come along for the ride, you've got nothing to lose. All right, welcome to the KissFAQ podcast, and then there were two. We are the survivors. No, Mark's under the weather. Get well soon, Mark. He's also been very busy putting out a single per week, so do check out his Project Gemini Bandcamp page, because when an artist does create music, it's always nice for it to at least be listened to, and offer him words of encouragement if you enjoy what he's doing. It's actually quite fun this week. Joe Bailey, who's done work on Mark's music before and worked with him on Dark Monarchy, sent me his new album, which it's really good. So I may do a Look It's Rock and Roll podcast episode with Joe on that, because it's been a few albums since I've done any of that. It's been a few albums for Mark as well since I've done anything, just because of my schedule. But I think I need a little bit of a gap for everything. So I did a quick and dirty overview of the Asylum merch that was released to VIPs only on June the 24th. And both Ken and I are special human beings who are VIPs only when we can pay for it, the membership. So we'll be going through some of the merch today. Other things are going to be mailroom. You meet us in the... I've really got to come up with an AI intro to that segment, because I love how Joe Polo has some intro music to some...
Whoa! What is...
Whoa! Holy shit!
Unbelievable!
Oh my god! Yeah, well, Lonnie is here, so Lonnie is in the house. So, good to see you, Lonnie.
Let there be Lonnie.
Woo! Don't talk to me about fire. Don't talk to me about fire alarm systems. Holy shit!
Hey, Lonnie, I got a fire alarm system.
Don't. I can remember. Wait, no, you can add yourself back in, so that'd be like banning people on the FAQ. All right, before we get to the mailroom, let's talk about the FAQ, because if you're going to the message board, you may be getting a pop-up challenge of "Are you human?" And I do apologize for that. We had a massive bot attack. It's the biggest, most bigliest bot attack I've ever witnessed on the site yesterday. Like 2,300 connections kept coming back and slamming the site, and there is just no way to keep those fuckers gone. So I did what I had to do, and we'll see how long that lasts. But again, it's just about keeping the board up.
Wait, that it did pop up for me. I thought that was kind of strange, but I kind of knew what was going on, because I understand. But I think it's not checking if you're human, it's checking if you're almost human.
The almost human AI check, in which case we're all screwed, because you can't trust
Max
AI.
And I are on the same wavelength out there.
Yeah, so I'm going to keep that in place for now. Just a word of wisdom to those who are using iOS devices. I was sitting in my other office using my iPhone, and it would freeze up when I was getting the challenge, but if I just hit refresh on the iPhone, it did go through and get me through to the site. So, and if not, you know what? It's a bit of a quiet time at the moment. So mailroom, anyone got anything? Lonnie, have you bought anything in the last month since we saw you last?
I did get my... Well, I bought my Asylum
Pre-order? You pre-ordered?
Pre-order.
Which
one?
one?
I got my unmasked colored vinyl in the mail.
Okay.
But that's
did it arrive in good condition, and are you happy with it?
It did. It came in really good condition. It's really nice, actually. I was quite happy with it.
What did you pre-order on the Asylum?
I just ordered the colored vinyl.
Okay.
I didn't do picture disc. Hey, that's a whole other rabbit
hole. We're going to go over that, I think, probably.
Yeah, we've got the video that I used for the merch overview. I want to get everyone's opinion, including those who are joining us live, and thank you always for joining us live for this show. Ken, what about you? Anything shown up in the mailbox of reason?
Mailbox of reason. I don't know. I got some other vinyl came in, but it wasn't Kiss, so it wasn't anything that I pre-ordered again. Also, like Lonnie. But pre-ordered both vinyl editions. Then immediately I replied to my email that I received from Kiss Online saying, I don't want that horrible shirt. So I replied on both of those, and they refunded for both of those shirts.
Nice.
And so I'm just going to get the vinyl, which is the way they should allow you. Plus, well, we'll go over that anyway.
Yeah, we'll get into all the merch in a moment, and then we're just going to pick some random topics. Yeah, we will be talking about the Bruce and Eric shirt. I got a nice package. That's what she said.
Where's Mark when we need him?
That's a load. That's not a package.
Yeah. So I got a bunch of CDs to transfer from a client, and I went through them. I think there were close to 30. 29 were shit. But one has some tracks, drum tracks of all things, that I don't recognize. So it's who knows, new discoveries, or I'm ignorant, one of the two. So either way, I'm going to have fun trying to figure out what that or those are. I think there's 3 that I've not been able to match up with Creatures, Animalize, or Lick It Up tracks. So you got to dig out the Wendy O. Williams and the Keel and see what they are. Yeah. So that's the fun. That's what I get off on when it comes to Kiss related audio. Upgrades, incremental, whether it's just going to one that hasn't been touched by an audio remaster like myself, going back to raw and as best quality as possible, going like the Matrix, we're seeking the source for many of these. So source media is always the best, but enough of that. The other mail call was actually an email call. Claudio Bergamin, fantastic Chilean Kiss fan and artist, did the cover for Firepower, did the cover for Mass Hysteria, delivered the cover for War Machine, which remains a work in process.
Yes.
Claudio absolutely hit a monstrous home run from the concept, and this is all his concept, to creation and colors. I mean, the colors riff off the original color scheme for the Creatures of the Night album. And Metamorphosis is about the change in the band. Obviously, it's an allusion to Unmasking, but it's the Michael James Jackson era of the band. So if I'm able to finish this, it goes from 1982, which is the aftermath of The Elder. It actually starts in January 1982. They're still promoting that all the way through. I think the last chapter is the last chapter is my interview with Michael James, but the last chapter is Wendy O. Williams' Wow album.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Why do you hate Ace Frehley? Why is Ace Frehley not on the cover? Why do you hate Ace Frehley, Julian?
He's as much part of that as he was those albums, Lonnie. I'm all about fairness.
I just gotta read the shit, sir. I haven't been on the show in a month. So.
Ace is up above in the clouds space.
Yeah. Jendal is not represented here unless he's hiding under the door. He's been squashed by the door from the Elder in the foreground there. But it has to be Vinny. This is Vinny's era. This is everything. You know, I should almost say, retitle this "Vinnie Vincent Saved Kiss." No, Kiss saved Kiss. Vinnie Vincent was a part of that resurrection and that metamorphosis of the band into its 1980s form. So we'll see. Again, it's got a lot of narrative only sections, looking at contracts, looking at auditions. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. That's already been done and published. You know, Chris Dale's interviews with a lot of the people who auditioned for the group does not need to be rehashed. It just needs to be summarized. So we shall see. There's a lot of gaps. I've got a call out for people's ticket stubs, people's original concert ads. I mean, everyone's seen Mass Hysteria, or everyone who's interested in this has, and knows the format that it's going to take. So a lot of work to do on that. A lot of work to do on the Return of Kiss book, on Magic for the 30th anniversary, which today is the 28th. It's the anniversary of Tiger Stadium, 29 years ago. So a lot of work to do, and obviously the Ace book. So
29 years.
All right, let's get into Asylum. Let's start off just with Bruce up on Kiss Online. Bruce, you know, getting a featurette of himself about his recollections for Asylum and that juncture of his history with the group, with some great candid photos that he provided. So they hit a home run with Burnt, as far as I'm concerned, covering Unmasked, and now Asylum. Lonnie, have you had any time to check that out? And if so, what do you think?
I have not checked that out, to be completely honest with you. I did watch that Kissed and Cadillac, for it's another topic on the board for the day, but I'm not prepared for this topic. But I love having Bruce being. I will just say that anytime that they can go to Bruce and get his perspective from this, in my opinion, ignored and forgotten era, I think is great. But I will be checking it out.
Yeah, do. And that goes for anyone who's listening to this. If you haven't, do take advantage of reading these features at Kiss Online, because the more people who do interact with those efforts, the more worth the effort is seen to have, because it's getting eyes on the site. So they need to see a reaction and a response to the effort that's being put into creating that content. As I know from trying to do crunch times, when you don't get many views or you just get snark, it becomes a bit of a bummer. So, yeah, again, they're engaging people to create that stuff, and also Bruce is taking the time, as are other people. So, Ken, did you manage to check it out?
Yeah, I did. I read it. It was very good. It was very cool. It's amazing that Bruce can remember all the little details from back then. But it's very interesting stuff where, you know, he talks about the writing songs and with Paul and then with Gene and the differences and how they approach things, among other things. So yeah, it was really good. I think people should get out there and read it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun kind of celebrating Asylum this year. And, you know, with the crunch times not really doing what I wanted them to do, which is why there isn't one today for Tiger Stadium. I'm cutting back on that sort of content since it doesn't have a place. And I'm going to be focusing more in on, you know, less, but also a lot more Asylum, because I was going through my memos and the stuff that I had. The originally scheduled tour memos would make a nice feature. The recording sessions and Gene's Don't Bother Me memos. I'm working with other groups. I think Black and Blue that year. Might have been Black and Blue. I can't remember. 85, whatever. Doesn't matter. Neither does Black and Blue for that matter. So there's a lot of like little clusters of memos that I find really interesting around Asylum. And as we move up to December, and which is my 40th anniversary as a Kiss fan officially, for buying that album, I'm really looking forward to, you know, hopefully seeing, you know, more content from other people as well. This week I've enjoyed a lot of content created by other folk. Necra, about a 2K remastered version of the Kiss Farewell show from East Rutherford yesterday. And I clicked on it casually. I was like, oh, great, another freaking remaster. I didn't stop watching it. It looked good. It sounded vastly different to the Kiss that I've been used to hearing over the last few years, and I stayed engaged with that. So I'm enjoying content, and I'm really hoping that we get some more Asylum content from either fans who've been hoarding it, or just fans sharing some of the magazine features from it.
Did you see the other one, the Cadillac one?
Yeah, it's on my notes.
That's
You know,
yeah.
I really need to sit down and not have any work to do and focus on that, because what I did see of it, and I got distracted, unfortunately, he did an absolute incredible job just taking so much of that material and weaving it into a story. Yeah, we've heard a lot of elements of the story, but I thought he did it so well, and it was so seamless and so professional. That's the sort of content that I can really, really enjoy. Lonnie, you're nodding.
Yeah, I watched that Kissed in Cadillac this morning. And yeah, we've all heard the story. I mean, everybody on the show, everybody watching the show, I mean, we've all heard the story a million times. But it was cool to hear it from like the community's perspective and from just the people living in Cadillac's perspective, as opposed to the band's perspective of what it was like. I thought it was really well done, actually. I mean, and a lot of it was footage that we've seen before, but the footage of the show, I thought it, for me, and it showed me things I haven't seen before, actually, of that show, of the 8mm footage with it was alive in the background, was the tracks to it. It wasn't the actual audio of that show, but I thought it was really well done. I was actually pretty impressed sitting there watching it.
Yeah, Ken, thoughts on Cadillac?
Yeah, I thought it was very well done. I watched the whole thing, and I really, really enjoyed it. I think there should be a movie. There was talks of there's a movie for this period of time, or a real documentary, a full blown out documentary. But that would be, I would really like to see that. But this was really well done.
Mm-hmm.
Just look, everything was like professionally done in this little mini documentary. So yeah, if you can check it out, I would recommend it for sure.
Yeah, and I'd be remiss, since I do support all creators, even those who like to take shots at me on sludge. The Frankenstein mix of Shandy, I thought was well done. Again, what he tried to do with that wasn't to everyone's taste, but having heard the demo/rough mix, that doesn't have all of the keyboard and syrup poured over that art. I thought he did an extremely good job of taking that song back to what it was before it was really given an over treatment, because at its root, Shandy is actually quite an exceptional composition. I think Joe Walsh really did a great job writing that song. So again, Frankenstein, I'll talk about your shit. I'll promote it and mention it and not delete the threads off, but check it out. Check all of it out. And if you enjoy it, then that's a bonus, because it's generally free for everyone to check out. Let's talk about some of the Asylum merch that dropped this week. Obviously, there's a little bit of contention around it being pre-announced and pre-access for VIP members of the Kiss Army, which is completely fair. Again, no one wants to be othered, in the sense that you're not special, you're not getting access, no cake for you unless you pay us $50. Well, it's more than 50, because there's shipping involved and tax on that. I think mine came to 80 something, with our Californian premium added. But it is what it is. It is a business model in this day and age, where every additional revenue stream is critically important, especially when you spent a couple $100 million obtaining the intellectual property. You've got to start recouping that any which way you can. But Lonnie, what's your initial reaction now to the early access from VIPs? Does it work for you? And does the email coming out after the items have sold out help you?
It doesn't help me, no. But I didn't sign up for the VIP. I know you guys did, so it's kind of good we get a little bit of both perspectives here.
Wait a minute, you're not a Kiss Army member?
I am a Kiss Army member. I'm a draft Kiss Army member. It's the free version of it.
Oh, okay.
So, I don't need the picture discs, and I know that the people that are signing up for the VIP are the people that are gobbling up the picture discs. And I also know that from the last one of these vinyls with the unmasked, I was able to order the unmasked when it came available to the masses. I got it right away, and I ordered it, and I got it, and it's fine. So I did the same thing with Asylum. As soon as it was available to the free members, I ordered it, and I'm gonna get it, and it'll be fine. But I don't need to spend, I don't need to spend an additional $50 or, after shipping, $80 to be able to buy more Kiss merchandise. That's for some, and that's great, but it's not for me, at least right now. I can still get what I want with the colored. I don't need the picture disc. I haven't gone down the picture disc rabbit hole. That's a whole other thing with those limited numbers on those. and that's not something I'm going to do or something that's going to work for my marriage. So I've steered clear of that. But we can get into some of the other merchandise, but as far as that goes, I'm okay with it. If that's what you want to do, that's great. I'm not here to criticize anyone or anything, but for me, it worked. The free version of it works fine for me. I knew that it went on sale to the paid versions of the Kiss Army the one day, and I said, okay, well, the next morning it's going to be available for me. So in the morning just started looking. Oh, I can get it. Boom, got it. Done. Back to work. So it's fine. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, and if you really got to get that picture disc, it's up on eBay now. $374, $324, $398, $398, $375, $349. Oh my God. Yeah, that's the part that infuriates me still is flipping, but it's a free market, and that's just the way the market works. If you open the doors and you know, again, it's shit or get off the pot if it means that much to people now that they have to pay that $50 to get in, and there was still no guarantee that you're going to get one because you don't know what time they're actually going to drop these. They don't tell you specifically. You may hear a subtle hint from people in the know, but usually that means that the people in the know are just lining up to get their multiples, to flip them. Well, flipping, whatever. I've bought stuff low and sold it high. It's called stocks. So it's really no different as much as the fan passion and excluding someone from the equation. I may actually put mine up. I got to see what the original picture disc sold for, because that's the one I had back in the day. And if they're equivalent cost, I may actually offer mine up for trade for one. I'll have to wait and see if that's the case, because I'd much rather have the one from 1980, whatever. I think it was the Dutch Fan Club put those out back in the day. I had that for many years and left it in storage in Scotland when I moved to America, and then all my stuff got chucked out. So that was a victim of changes. Ken, VIP membership, is it right? Is it wrong? Give us the word.
No, there's no right or wrong, but yes, I always seem to sign up for the, join the Kiss Army deal and do the paid version. It's kind of like when you buy the VIP stuff for, when they were touring, you got early access to buying tickets, so you're getting early access to just buying merch, I guess, instead. But that VIP, that purchase, you do get. I mean, at least you get a shirt when you do sign up. You get the T-shirt, depending, it's different every year. A T-shirt and always a pin or whatever.
And a litho.
It was a heavy, pretty good pin this year. And then this year, you had a lithograph, a little poster, which was an addition that they hadn't done. So I remember one way back where they actually gave you a jacket. I still have that jacket. It's like a silver and black jacket with the Kiss Army logo on the back, and and that was back then. It was probably like $80 the Kiss Army membership, and that I was like, wow, that's a good deal for that one. But there's no right or wrong on that. The thing is with the email that's supposed to come out and alert you, but it alerts you an hour after they already put the stuff on sale. The other thing is, I was expecting it to maybe go on sale at 6 a.m. and which they used to do 6 a.m. Eastern time, but now it's at 9 a.m. Pacific time this time. The last couple times, I think it was like 9 a.m. the last two times. So I don't know if that's the new one. It'll probably change again to something else. But I know the VIP thing, I think, made it last, or at least the picture disc didn't sell out until like a half hour maybe or something. I think I heard. Normally it's gone in like 15 minutes because there's only 500. But at least they're reducing it to you can buy one at a time. Sure, you can go back in and buy one and go back in and buy one. I think. I don't know if they have some kind of block on that, but I think you can go back. Anyway, it's again, it's Yeah, you can do it. Or you don't need to do it. If you don't worry about a picture disc, then it's no reason to sign up and pay the money. Like Lonnie, he can just get the color one. Usually that lasts a while longer, of course, because it's 2,500 copies.
Yep. So Red Wolf, agree with you about the Rock and Roll Over. I also like the back of the, I think it's Kiss Killers picture disc. Had a great design with those kind of spacey elder photos that they used.
I got that here.
Front. Yeah.
I got it from you because I couldn't get that one. Yeah.
Which one?
I think the Killers one. Was it the
Don't
Killers one?
remind
Or the
me of
Elder?
that.
Or the Elder. No, the Elder maybe.
Yeah, don't remind me of the German Killers fiasco. 2 copies arrive, one is damaged, so you get the good one, and I got rid of mine.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go through some of the merch, and just riff off. I've done a little bit of an overview video already. Thanks to everyone who checked that out. But for these guys and for you in the audience, here we go. Asylum 40th anniversary. This is just screen recording as such. Look at that. It was even sold out when I went back to grab the video.
Why the heck though? They have both vinyl albums. They have the same shirt for both. If you're gonna buy both albums, you should get a different shirt. That's what they normally do. Huh?
People were bitching about the sweatshirt being bundled with one and a t-shirt being bundled with another. And then there are people like you
can't win.
Call in and cancel them anyway.
There's people like
they ought to allow. They ought to allow. Well, they ought to allow a selection. It's like, okay, can I choose this shirt to go with in this bundle? Just pick the shirt you want.
No, because they still want you to go back and get another shirt. So they kind of put the most bland shirt of them all on there. Because even like this one right here that you're showing now, this Accept No Imitations, is cooler than the shirt that comes with the vinyl bundle.
I agree.
They put the most bland, basic shirt to go with it.
Yeah,
because most people aren't like you. Most people aren't like you. They're not gonna cancel it. They're like, oh, it sounds like too much of a hassle. It sounds like too much of a hassle to go in there and do that. I'll just take it on the chin, and I'll get this shirt or whatever. I think that's why they. I think that's why they do it. They put the most bland shirt on there, so that you have to go back in. Oh, I really like that Accept No Imitation shirt, or I really like the Raglan shirt. So I'll go back and get that. That's why.
Yeah, so the Accept No Limitations, as I said in the other video, that was the advertising around Asylum back in 1985.
The magazines, right?
Yeah, you had one side which had the big album and then the little discography. It was usually a gatefold. I don't have one to reference, but I always liked that. But I agree with both of you, that this would have been a better t-shirt to bundle with one of the versions, preferably since this is a $60 one. What the hell? 60? When did t-shirts become $60?
Right?
Whoa, 60. God, jeez.
Well, yeah. why is the Raglan shirt with the longer sleeves cheaper than that shirt? How does that make any sense?
It must be maybe the design costs more. Made out of silk or something. I don't know.
Or maybe hold on. Let me.
How does a shirt with longer sleeves cost less than that?
Let's see what that says. It's upcycled and unique.
Oh,
okay. Well, upcycled.
It's upcycled and $60 unique.
What the hell does that mean?
Does that mean recycled from recycled materials?
I don't know what that means.
There may be something with the branding of the Lost Love T-shirt stock before it even gets printed. That looks. I mean, the color scheme looks good. I love that actually. Yeah. So I'm not going to bag on it.
I like this.
I think I
had that shirt back in.
I agree.
I think
I'll have to buy that. That looks pretty damn good.
Yeah. It's so 1980s. As I said in the other video, I've only ever owned one Raglan, and that was a AC/DC Fly on the Wall one. I'll have to dig out that photo and put it up. At least I think it is, because me with my very, very bad beginner's mullet, jean jacket, and standing in my living room with no shoes on, just socks. It's so 1985 or 86 is at that point. So this one's actually pretty good. Lonnie, you're gonna buy it. You're tempted as well.
I will buy that shirt. I will purchase that shirt. That's really cool. I love just anything that it looks like Ken said. Ken goes, I had that shirt. Like that's what a Kiss from the '80s shirt is supposed to look like.
Mm-hmm.
All 4 members on it, non-makeup. That's really cool. I mean, that's something I will definitely purchase. I actually had already sent a picture to my wife downstairs. I go, this is actually pretty cool. I approve that for sure.
I look forward to her response of no, it doesn't.
Why do you need another T-shirt?
Why do you need another Kiss T-shirt? Good God!
How many T-shirts do you need, Lonnie?
Too damn many.
All right, this is probably the best one of all the merch. The Bruce and Eric. I said again, I'm repeating myself as I often do from the other video, but how frickin' funny considering the hoo-ha over the Off the Soundboard merch with just Gene and Paul featured, for them to come back and kind of in
FU. It's an FU.
I love it. If they did a 3X, I'd buy it, but I ain't squeezing into that pierogi skin. But fair play to them for doing that, because I think it's awesome. It's hilarious. It shows a sense of humor, and it also is a fantastically snarky item. Lottie.
I love it. I think it's hilarious. I saw that pop up the other day, and I was like, just a Kiss shirt with Bruce Kulick and Eric Carr. How freaking cool is that, actually? And if you wear that around, like, no one would get it. Only like an uber Kiss fan sitting here watching this on a Saturday morning would even understand that. You know what I mean? So I think it's hilarious, and totally, like Jillian said, it shows that, hey, we can take it, and it's a good tongue-in-cheek joke. I love it.
Yeah, how about that, McMurphy? The bottom of the shirt should say, "Are you happy now?" I mean, and everyone else is a trolling T-shirt. Ken, epic troll?
Kind of, yeah. I would have liked. I was thinking I would have liked to have that on the front and then Gene and Paul on the back shirt and see how that went over.
Oh, so you're still not happy? Jesus, no pleasing some.
Typical Kiss fan.
Like I said, that tour shirt is it should have always been like the tour shirt that they have, the Raglan one we were looking at just before this. But I think it's a great idea that they came out with this shirt. I think it's actually funny to me more than anything else.
Yeah, so snap that one up, Kiss fans. If you bought
collector's item
ones before they got pulled, get it, because I don't think you're going to see that sort of thing very often. So,
Lonnie, I just had an idea. You can get the one with Gene and Paul in it, and then you can buy one for your wife and have Eric and Bruce, and then you can stand next to each other in a picture, and then you got the one. It's a puzzle.
So it'd be so cute, wouldn't it?
Take a picture.
All right, you guys have bashed this one, and I didn't have time to dig out the prototype ad to fact check myself to see if it really did, but they'd use this kind of 3-dimensional rock logo going back to the return of Kiss. There was definitely prototype artwork for that at that time. So am I in the minority here that I actually like this? I didn't cancel the T-shirt off my picture disc order because I'm perfectly fine with this. It's just a really stupidly simple T-shirt for, I guess, a stupidly simple person.
I'm fine with it. It's the most bland T-shirt of the ones offered, but I'm fine with it. I mean, it's not terrible. Like that Dynasty one they had a year or so ago was absolutely dreadful. It's terrible. This one, it's fine. It's not awful, but it is the most bland of the shirts. Like, you order the picture disc or the colored vinyl, we'll give you the most bland of the shirts. We're not going to give you one of the cool ones.
Yeah, the front of it should be. I mean, it looks like, to me, the front looks like a what would be on a Kiss Greatest Hits cover. To me, it's just it's a little just too bland. It's okay, but I'm like, I would not buy it.
I remember back in the 1990s using GIMP, and there were some online image manipulators that would let you do 3D renders out of fonts and various types. And that Asylum logo just looks like the one that we've got for this show episode, turned into 3D. It's very dated. It's got lightning. It's got glow. So that's probably why I like it. So there we are. At least I'll be happy when that package arrives and it's the t-shirt. Oh, so I finally figured on this video, if I clicked on it, I could just scroll down through the images. So, all right, the Asylum guitars t-shirt, and I've already mentioned that I don't recall seeing Paul playing a V very often on the Asylum tour, but Homer Simpson jumps out of the bush and screams "nerd" at me and hits me with a frying pan. Ken?
It's okay. I think it's okay. I don't like the color, kind of. You know, I would like
hot
it.
In the shade color scheme.
A choice in it. Yeah, it does look more like Hot in the Shade, which I'm wearing today, the Hot in the Shade t-shirt. But yeah, it's, I don't know, something about the colors, these colors together, just doesn't work. I think if it had a darker color with that image on it, I would like the look of it better. You know, even black with that image on it. Well, maybe not black, but I don't know. I just don't like it. I just don't like it that much. I think the guitar thing is fine. I think that's cool, the logo, but yeah, something about the colors bother me. Those ones.
Well, the blue and the pink, very Asylum when you think back to Paul's costume, and
yeah.
I do like that there is a lighter colored shirt rather than the boring black rock t-shirt is so cliche. It doesn't. It's a bit of a miss for me.
White might work on it.
Yeah, it's okay. It's the flying V colors blend in with the color of the shirt. I don't really like that aspect of it. It looks kind of strange, the yellow on the yellow like that. It's okay. I mean, to each their own. It's not my favorite though.
Standard black t-shirt with the album cover with Eric Carr's chin restored. That's cool. Yeah. I'd buy that one as well. Not for $40, but I would buy it if I desperately needed a t-shirt.
Paul's forehead's not restored, but just Eric Carr's chin. Yeah.
Well, Paul gets the KISS logo. I'm sure he's okay with that.
He's okay with that because he refined it.
I know people hate this artwork, but I just get warm and fuzzies looking at it. Lonnie,
yeah, I think it's fine. I like the fact that this era of the band is being celebrated. I mean, for the longest time, you couldn't even go get a KISS t-shirt without the makeup, with the band out in makeup, and it has, the classic '80s lineup on it with Bruce and Eric Carr. I think it's fine. I think it's great. Bacchus's Asylum World Tour. I think it's cool that they're offering merchandise like this. Honestly, I think it's great.
Yep. My only issue with this one is the Asylum logo on the back cover. I think it's great. That it just says something simple, World Tour. This is KISS. It was always about everything is the world, even when it was only North America.
Yeah.
That is the world to them in many cases. But the Asylum logo there should be in the type of the album title.
I agree.
Even in blue. I'm fine with it in that color because it looks nice. It's very pretty.
All right. I agree. That shirt's it's an album cover, basically, t-shirt, and that's fine. And it's a sign of the times, and it works. It's perfectly fine.
Well, Lonnie's wearing sleeveless tie. You're wearing a tank today.
I thought Lonnie might be able to get this one.
Right?
He's going jogging in this.
Showing myself off in that real good. Yeah, wives in the neighborhood, eat your heart out. I'll wear that while I'm jogging around the neighborhood.
Now you have to jog while shimmying like Paul in the Who Wants to Gotta have some of those Velcro sneakers on as well.
Funny. Yeah, there you go. Some high top Velcro sneakers.
And a headband.
Yeah. Who's ordering that? Come on, that's terrible looking. Let's be honest here. That's awful.
Just you wait. When Kiss Army storms Vegas in November, there'll be people wearing that. They'll be Yeah, flash bastards. It is. Yeah, Super Zapper. I'm sorry. That is the word. That is absolutely hideous. Where do you put the batteries?
Yeah, that just doesn't.
What about for you?
Yeah, that doesn't. Like I said, I think I messaged you guys. I kind of overlaid a picture of this on myself. I said, in capital letters, nope, nope. I'm not. No way.
Well, it's got all the colors again as Darklight.
Hey,
out.
someone might like it, and that's fine. Perfectly fine. You know, it's
who cares?
like the colors or something.
We're just evaluating this to our taste. No Kiss fan has ever mocked another for their taste, have they?
Oh gosh, no.
What's the next?
Right. Moving on. I'm surprised this one isn't limited edition. All right. Now, I thought this was a bib initially for a baby, but apparently women can wear that.
I thought it was a onesie or something for a baby. It looked like it initially.
Yeah, so I jumped through that one because as a male, I don't have any opinion on that. The Kiss Asylum towel. Again, they're using the wrong...
Yeah.
The wrong color for the Asylum logo is really triggering me.
Yeah, they should have had the green or fluorescent green. It would have looked better.
Yeah.
Either of you going to get that? We're interested in it, or what was the price?
I don't need a Kiss towel.
I'm not in the market. I
already have a Batman towel. I don't need a Kiss towel.
A Kiss beach towel in Missouri. I'm not in the market.
$50.
Ooh, ouch.
Yeah.
You can hang it up on the wall, I guess. You know.
I guess.
It could be your curtain behind you, Julian, instead of the other one.
All right, so we're back to the merch for the guitars again. They are what they are. Again, fine. Nothing's really outside the box here. Yeah. And then back to the original merch that was available from just having it up on the board. Now let's get into the special editions. I should have probably magnified these, but there you go. The picture disc. I think the three-dimensional offset, cyan, magenta, whatever the other colors are, magenta, black, CMY, yellow, and K. Looks fine. The OB from the Japanese release and the stickers, fine. I don't care about the posters. Again, they're just Kiss logo stickers, Max. They're just little red ones.
Isn't there one of them like iron-on or something like that?
They might be. We'll get the description in a minute that explains what it is. But
I think it looks.
Any regrets?
No, I mean it looks fine. It looks. I think it's well done. It's different than just like a standard picture of the band or something like that, or it is unique in its own way. So again, if that's what you want, and it's fine. I think it's cool looking though. I think it's very unique and cool.
I was incorrect. The Japan Obi sleeve and translated insert, an iron-on T-shirt transfer sheet, and a brand new double-sided poster. Each vinyl is individually numbered and exclusive here, so limited to 500 copies. Yeah, and the silver foil treatment, again, I'm really excited to see how that turns out, especially with the light green and the yellows in it. And there we go. What's on the B side? Presumably just the album cover. Like they didn't show it, or it's to be determined. Who knows? Ken, I cut you off in the middle of a thought.
Continue. No, I mean, I like the design. I like that it comes with the poster. I think the other one comes with a different poster. Yeah, maybe the T-shirt. Maybe I'll try to iron on, make my own T-shirt with that thing.
Okay.
Some people like it's blasphemy. Don't touch. No, don't touch.
Why would you do that?
It's like don't use the tattoos, from the Live 2 or anything like that. But so what? If it looks good, like it might work, then maybe I'll try it and then display it. Why not? It's all you got to use the stuff, in my opinion. If you're gonna buy it, just don't throw it in the closet and do nothing with it. at least take a look at it, open it up, check the poster out, and if you can iron on something, sure, it's worth a shot.
Yeah, why not? I noticed on this one that it's using the Japanese polystar styled center ring. That's a very nerdy thing, but that color scheme,
That's
it looks
interesting.
like it's just black with a little smudge of it. I would have thought with Asylum, with all that red, blue, yellow, green going on, that
I
this would have
wonder.
been
Yeah, I
completely
wonder if it's just one side, or I mean, it's going to be just two sides.
I imagine both sides look like that. Yeah.
Just going across. You know what? Sometimes they show things that one way, and then of course it's when we get it, it looks a lot different.
That's never happened. What are you talking about?
Like the first Kiss album, well, that colored vinyl first Kiss album, where it's supposed to be black and white swirl, and it's
Basically
just like white with one little blotch of spot.
looked like smoky,
a black dot on
water.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, that other one, yeah, I remember that one, the European one.
This one is supposed to be multicolored splattered vinyl. So if they're throwing all those pellets in, the possibilities are endless, and each one is unique. Some may well have more black than other colors. But you know what? I can't wait to see what some of those look like. With the unmasked one that's just been released, I've seen some that look like Eye of Sauron,
really good,
which are fantastic, and others which I'm like, meh, that's all right. But again, it's the manufacturing process is inconsistent. You just throw a bunch of sprinkles on and smush down that.
They're all going to be unique.
Yeah. So that's very cool. The poster, again, I don't care about the poster. It's going to be folded anyway inside, just like most of them are. So that's irrelevant to me. I like the poster that they did for the Japanese off the soundboard, but I wasn't expecting anything like that. But I would like something a little bit more than just the band standing like the back cover of the album. But then again, whatever. If they use a photo, that's a new licensing use and all that shit. So
that other one might be a two-sided poster on the picture disc. Usually, it's a two-sided poster.
Yeah, I think it said that it was.
Is it?
So I don't know what the back side of it is.
Yeah, so this is limited to 2,500 copies. The cover is embossed, so that's going to be very cool to see, and it'll be interesting to see Lonnie do the show and tell on that version when we all get our merch in for this release. So hey,
there you go.
There you go. The tank top. Why not? And no wrong answer.
Yep.
I think this was the end of the merch. See how much more I just stick around with the video. Okay. There we go. That is the merch overview. So again, I think they've done fine with it. The winner of the merch for me is most assuredly the Bruce and Eric tee. I was cracking up when I saw that. I was like, there was such a reaction to that, which, as Three Sides of Mike pointed out, it wasn't the first time that Oni, Gene, and Paul had been featured on merch. That's true. I guess, maybe no one thought about the reasons why, in image rights. And it does impress me that Bravado Pop House, which is the merchandising arm, seemed to be trying to do the right thing. So making sure that Bruce is on board and Eric's estate clearly are officially, properly, sounds like Wizard of Oz, unrestrictedly represented, which is right. And it's also good business to make sure that all rights are cleared. So, but even better is their sense of humor and the trolling. I look forward to much more trolling from Pop House. Let's put it that way. And I think the Pop House internet advisors, some of them who I do know personally, are perfectly set with their six senses of humor to make some good suggestions for trolling the KISS Army going forward with merch ideas. I'd love to know who came up with that. So I'm sure we will hear it, because never has a Kiss fan had a good idea that wasn't done, that didn't then brag about it endlessly.
Exactly.
Very true.
All right. Let's just grab a couple more. See if we've got any other topics from the board. There have been a lot of Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons interviews of late, and frankly, I have not had the time to listen to them, nor am I interested from the summaries that I'm reading from fellow fans, predominantly on Facebook and on the FAQ, that they're continuing to bash the other founding members for their sins 40 years ago. I just have no interest in hearing the same broken record of how things were in 1982 or 1979. It just doesn't make any sense when the reunion, which turns 29 today, gave Gene and Paul an extra 30 years of monetizing the brand.
Yeah.
It's like, it's time, in my mind. I know that all parties were damaged by each other. The dynamics of it we'll never understand, we will never know, but it's time to fucking get over it and maybe be appreciative of making a few $100 million on the backs of everything that came before, and stop bitching about it. It's rich people's problems. When groceries are growing up in price on a daily basis, taxes aren't getting any lower, and you hear these rich people bitching about how someone hurt their feelings in 1975. It's like, come on. Celebrating. Yes. I've gone blurry again, damn it.
No, it is. It's like, I don't know what it is, because I think it's the monologue filter or something. Anyway, I agree with you. Stop the bashing. Just say, it was time for a change, instead of going through the whole thing about, this person couldn't play anymore, or they were consuming this or that, and so on. Just say, things changed. We had to move on, and we did everything. We thank them for, we wouldn't be here. Of course, they do usually say that we wouldn't be here without them, but they don't have to throw the other dirt in with it all. So, and the other thing about the interviews, some of the interviews, I'm not learning a lot of new stuff, hardly at all. It's the same old as far as all the interviews go. There was a new one too with Paul they're talking about food and stuff, and I was like, oh God, I didn't even want to. I started to watch a little bit. It was like, okay, no, turn it off. I don't even. I'd rather talk about Kiss or something different. It's always the same questions from the interviewers that we've heard a million times, so we get the same answers all the time. Sometimes we get some new questions. I think the one with Gene Simmons and Billy Corgan was a little better. He got a little bit more out of him on that one, but still got a lot of the same stuff. Gene goes off on his own tangent and things. They just goes off track always from the real question. And Billy Corgan would try to keep him on track to get the real answer. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But it's tough to watch some of these interviews.
Yeah, it is. It is just the same stuff. And, I grow tired of the we're superior, they're inferior answers to these questions every single time. And just how can I build myself up and put them down in a different way in every single interview? It's tiresome. And like Julian said, be thankful for what they did. I mean, prior to that reunion tour, I mean, we're literally playing airport hotel, ballrooms basically in the summer of '95, and then you bring back Ace and Peter. Oh, you're the biggest band in the world because you brought back Ace and Peter. If the reunion tour doesn't happen, and that's a game that every Kiss fan plays, is if the reunion tour doesn't happen, what does happen to Gene and Paul and Kiss? Do they just fade away? Do they go back, ended up playing 2,000 seat theaters on the next tour? Who knows? If Ace and Peter just flat out refuse, no, I'm not doing it. what does the future of KISS look like after 1995? So, be a little appreciative and be thankful. It's like, without it, have more answers that without Ace and Peter, one, we wouldn't be here, but two, without Ace and Peter, who knows what would have happened to us in the mid 90s? They saved our butts again by coming back and allowing us to become mainstream again. So
even the 70s, they may have been without Ace and Peter. You never know. I mean, it's a chemistry thing, and that was the right chemistry. You could have got another, who knows, type character that the music would have been totally different or wouldn't have worked, and you just don't know with the personalities and everything. But
it's a lottery ticket.
It's a crapshoot, and they won the lottery in the 70s.
Yeah, many bands imploded. Those 70 bands. I always use Aerosmith as the perfect example as a band that had a similar trajectory to KISS, but also had similar issues with KISS, with Joe leaving in 79 and Brad following, that they lost two of their original members. And one of them wasn't one of the other three, because Aerosmith is the Steve and Joe show. Whereas KISS had those four very unique identities. So more harm was done by those characters leaving because of just how it changes. But look at Aerosmith as well. They hired Jimmy Crespo, who from a distance had a very similar physical appearance to Joe Perry. And in some pictures, you could barely tell the difference. He had a similar playing style in many ways, not identical, and certainly not miming to Joe Perry's parts. So again, it was just a natural thing. One last thought before we go is, now that Paul and Gene are reasserting themselves into KISS Army Storms Las Vegas, what changes do you anticipate happening as a result of that, if any? What do you think the biggest change is going to be to the already announced format of that event? And will it help them shift the remaining 1,000-something tickets? Lonnie?
I don't know. I mean, what does that even mean? There's such an unknown about this event. You know what I mean? I mean, Gene and Paul reinserting themselves. What does that mean? What are we getting? I think that's the reluctance of some of the KISS Army buying into this. Like, what are we getting for this event? I know Tommy Thayer's going to be there. I know Bruce Kulick's going to be there. It doesn't sound like Eric Singer's going to be there. I don't think we're going to get an Ace Frehley, Peter Criss type of deal either. So, and I don't know what it means. I think that's the problem. I think there needs to be more of a definition of, hey, this is what's happening. This is what you're going to get when you come here. And I think that might, spark some more interest from the KISS Army that's on the fence or on the other side of it.
Yeah, with what you just said and what Darklight said in the comments, I mean, it would be nice if, after the end of the road, there could be an inclusion of former members other than Vinny, back into the fold. It would benefit all parties, I'm sure. But I think Lonnie nails it, of what I expect from Paul and Gene reasserting themselves. And I think better communication and more clarity about what the event means and what it includes. I think that's more than anything is what I would expect Paul and Gene to want to be very clear about what the event is, what the deliverables are, and most importantly, because while I do bag on them sometime for some of the products and offerings, they do ensure that the customer is treated as well as possible, and they have made amends in the past when things have not gone well. So I do respect them for their business sense of making sure that my French fries are hot. So I expect clarity. I expect better communication, and I expect better marketing. Again, a lot of these things they are experts at. So we shall see. I could be completely wrong, and whatever. I'm not going. I'm not invested in it. So, but I do want it to be a success because I do want there to be other opportunities in the future. I'm selfish. I'm not interested in this. But does it say that down the road, if they have lessons learned, that I wouldn't be?
Or make me regret not going. Yeah, it'd be so cool, and I regret not going.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. I agree that, if they can somehow get Ace and Peter on board somehow, but I don't think I'd be very surprised if that happens. But I think it's going to be more like the cruise. You may get something that's resembles a sail away type show, and then you may get another like a regular electric rehearsed show. It's very possible that could happen. I heard rumors. I don't know. I read rumors, that is, about drummers and stuff. Like the one said, there was a rumor out there about Tommy Lee being, coming to drum. I was like, I don't know. So
that sounds really dumb, by the way.
Yeah. I don't, and that wouldn't like create anything for me. Like, ooh, that's gonna be great.
Now I'm going.
Yeah. Maybe if you're a Motley Crue fan, big, you'd want to do that. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's just gonna try to resemble more of what the cruise shows were and what they did, and the other artists that performed on the boats and all the little interviews they did and the games shows, kind of games they did, and Paul Stanley's cooking thing. He probably is going to have a cooking thing. I bet you anything he adds that. Anyway, I just can imagine. So anyway,
probably right. So.
Hopefully it turns out better than expected.
Hey, mate. Well, Paul has done art experiences as part of his, I think, the Wentworth and other gallery type things.
You can buy his art.
Well, not only that, but you can paint with him. Everyone gets a canvas, and he walks through, and painting with Paul. I mean, well,
learn how to paint with Paul. Yeah,
got to clean.
You do it.
Yeah. But who would be a good replacement drummer for Eric? I don't really care one way or the other if Eric's involved. He earned whatever he wants to do from a lifetime in music, and if he's not into it, whatever.
Anton Fig.
They're just playing hardball. But I think anyone who's played with Gene and Paul would be an acceptable drummer. So I can't remember who the guy was in Paul's solo band in 2006-07, but was that Nate? Well, I can't remember.
Carmine, yeah. Apathy. Yeah,
Carmine's not played with them. Who's been in Gene's solo band? Those guys. So any of those guys would be fine because they're already kind of part of the extended Kiss family, having played with Gene or Paul as one of the principals. So I just don't want it to be a cavalcade of special guests of one person coming up to sing a song. When I watch this on YouTube after it takes place, unless they ban all cameras, I really want it to be, a proper electric show as much as possible, with a minimum of guests. I don't mind guitarists coming up and jamming unless they're paid experience by wannabe fans.
What about vocal smoothing?
Nate Morton, that was a drummer in Paul's
Nate Morton, thank you. Thanks for looking that up. Because he was a monster.
Yeah, he was really good.
Would they consider the vocal smoothing pedal thing? If it's electric?
You know what? It is what it is. I want Paul to be happy and confident. I hope they're a little bit more upfront. We're going to use some vocal, just be honest. Now's the time to be honest about it.
Yeah.
And the one thing I don't want is any of the freaking audience participation. Come up on stage to sing the chorus.
Like the Gene Simmons.
That is so.
Stop it.
Oh, here's a good one.
He needs to stop it. Yeah. Joey would be great.
Joey would be great, and he's honored the catalog with. I'm finishing his book this weekend, because I want to get him on the show to talk about that and the Elder and Creature's performance. So let's leave it there. That's an episode. Mark, we saw you in the comments, so get well, get healed up, feel better, get that next single out, and that's it. I want to thank everyone who's joined us today. Trying to find where the hell I am. With your comments and your opinions, what do you think of the Kiss Asylum merch? Is that a step in the right direction? What's your favorite t-shirt? Did you miss out on the picture disc? and there's no pleasing everyone on time zones when it comes to that. Someone is always getting screwed somewhere across the world, literally and figuratively. But that's it. What do you want to see with the re-involvement of Gene and Paul in the whatever Kiss Army storms Las Vegas, Desert Storm? So
Desert Storm.
It's good.
All right, that's it. So for now, from Lonnie, Ken, myself, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ podcast today. All sales are final. There are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the message board and discuss the topics we've broadcast today. Don't forget to hit subscribe wherever you've listened to this show, and a like would very much be appreciated. We hope you'll join us again, but until then, remember, life's a radio. Turn it up to 10.